What's up, y'all? How the hell are you? It's your boy Big TK Gaming. Make sure you do your boy a favor. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and run your boys' likes up. It'll help me in the long run. So I know y'all see this goated game machine that I have in front of me. For those who do not know, for my youngins, you know what I'm saying? For my youngins, what I have right here, hold up, listen to this. Listen to this. Ooh, that right there, baby, that's nostalgia, and I got Ready to Rumble in there. This is the OG original Sony PlayStation, and the way the Sony PlayStation came about was because Nintendo and Sony actually had a business venture together. So Sony was going to make a peripheral for the original Super Nintendo, and basically Nintendo kind of backed out last minute and went with, I believe, Philips CD, and they made it some horrible Nintendo properties that we would not talk about. But, Sony got to thinking, you know what, bruh? You know what? We might as well make our own gaming machine.
I'll do it myself.
And hence, therefore, you have the PlayStation, the OG PlayStation. So the original PlayStation released in 1994 in Japan and also in 1995 in the US of A, baby. So what I want to talk about is a little bit of my collections, my game collection, and also some of the games that you probably should check out. Now, I got more games than this, but these are the ones that I probably play the most out of my collection. So we're gonna go ahead and dive into it. Like I said, go ahead and subscribe. You're gonna get some good content coming out in the near future, and you're gonna miss out. You don't wanna miss out, do you? Huh? You don't wanna miss out. Go ahead and subscribe. It's your boy Big TK Gaming. Let's go ahead and get in with it. Let's go. Of course, if you're gonna be a collector for the original PlayStation, you gotta go ahead and go buy you a OG PlayStation. Now, another way, a lot of people don't realize this, another way to play original PlayStation games, you can actually play original PlayStation games on any PlayStation 3. So it'll definitely upscale your games up to HD. So you can get any PlayStation 3. So from the fat PlayStation 3 to the remake that they did to the little smaller slim joint with the sliding door, they all play original PlayStation, if I'm not mistaken. If not, you guys go ahead and leave a comment below. But I'm pretty sure all of them play original PlayStation. So that's another way you can play PlayStation 3. Of course, you can just get the original machine with the OG controller. As you can see, let me go ahead and wrap that bad boy for you so you can see. And it's crazy, man. We have come a long way when it comes to video games themselves. But look at the OG PlayStation controller. Look how slim it was. It is. Go ahead and zoom in. Now, a lot of y'all are probably familiar with, this console because a couple of years ago, Sony released a horrible kind of plug and play PlayStation. It was a PlayStation Classic, and I think you can find that thing damn near for what, 20 bucks in the recycle bin or the old bin at a GameStop or something. They didn't sell well. A lot of people modded them and put a lot of games on there. I heard a lot of the games kind of ran horrendous. I wanted to get one, but I didn't. I mean, I got the real thing. I got the OG, baby. You know what I'm saying? So we'll go ahead and get into some of the games that you should collect for if you have a OG PlayStation or original PlayStation. So right here, of course, we got Pac-Man World, 3D platformer type of game if you ever played it. So I got the original one. This is the 20th anniversary. So I believe it comes with old school Pac-Man on it as well. But this is a greatest hits. You definitely got to look out for this if you're going to collect for the original PlayStation. Moving on, and as you can see in my background, I got it playing on the TV. You got to see, I've heard through the grapevine, and I hope this is absolutely true because we have gotten some phenomenal remakes when it comes to older games being remade for the new gen systems. This is Metal Gear Solid. This is, to me, is probably one of the best games I ever played. And it's probably one of the best Metal Gear Solid games that I ever played. The story in this is just awesome. I never ever played anything like this when I was a kid. I was just blown away. Now the graphics, of course, nowadays are kind of crappy. But I mean, if they do a remake, Jesus Christ, take my money. Take my money now.
Shut up and take my money.
So of course you got the original Metal Gear Solid disc. You got it came with, so the game was so big it had to come on 2 different discs. So you got the first disc, of course you got your booklet, and then let's see, we open this part up. Did I get it open? All right, there we go. Oh shit, we open this part up. You got the second disc that comes in it. I just dropped the booklet, but we ain't gonna worry about that. I don't know if y'all hear it, but they doing some landscaping out around my apartment, so you might hear that on the mic, but we gonna keep it pushing, baby. We gonna ignore it, you know what I'm saying? So also, one of the games that are slept on, I feel like is pretty much a hidden gem. This is Wild 9. So this is developed by Sony, and if you're familiar with Sony made the games, they made awesome games like Earthworm Jim. So it kind of has that similar type of gameplay, kind of that same type of humor to it. It's a 3D platformer. You have this gauge, this power ability where you can levitate enemies and slam their ass back and forth until they blow up. And you would use that mechanic all throughout the game. But make sure you check this out. If you want to download it via emulation, I would recommend doing it. But of course, I'm not condoning piracy. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, if you want to check it out, that's the way to check it out. So Wild 9 is one game you guys got to look for. We're going to set that right there. One time I start recording, they're gonna start doing this dumb shit. Anyway, so of course, Rugrats Search for Reptar is a greatest hits game. I remember playing this as a kid. It's your standard 3D platformer based off a TV license. I mean, it's nothing spectacular, but it's something to, you know, check out. Of course, it's developed by THQ. You know how THQ used to get down back in the day. They made a bunch of like Nickelodeon games, wrestling games. Like, they were a good developer. Check that out. All right, we're gonna move on to, we got Die Hard Trilogy. So Die Hard Trilogy is based off, of course, the movie franchise with Bruce Willis.
Yippee-ki-yay,
and so it has, this is Die Hard Trilogy 2, excuse me. So this one has a car racing scenario. I believe it has like a third-person shooter and then a first-person shooter. So it just basically have 3 different type of games. It goes through different scenarios and different missions you have to do. It's worth checking out. It's nothing to, you know, get excited about, but you know, it's a decent game for the system. Yippee-ki-yay, WWF Warzone. So if you're familiar with WWF Warzone, we know how crappy this gameplay is. I mean, let's just be honest. But back in the day, you couldn't tell me nothing on my Kanye West types. You couldn't tell me nothing. I thought this was, you know, the best thing since sliced bread. The good thing about it is the graphics look pretty decent for the time, and they still hold up somewhat. The thing about it is just sucked gameplay wise, but the customizations for the wrestlers when you went through the story mode, it was pretty cool, man. It's crazy that it got Stone Cold in front and it says featuring Stone Cold, so that lets you know how big of a star your boy Stone Cold Steve Austin was in the Attitude Era. Hell yeah! So yeah, definitely recommend getting this game. Here is one of my favorite wrestling games. It's actually a sequel to a arcade game. This is WWF In Your House. So this is a sequel to WWF WrestleMania that was released for arcades. I believe it was on the Super Nintendo and also released for the original PlayStation. I think I have that one too. So this sequel had it had, you know, wrestlers like back in that. It reflected what was on TV that time. You got about 8 wrestlers, not a big roster, but it was basically Mortal Kombat meets professional wrestling. I mean, a lot of the wrestlers, they were exaggerated in their abilities. Like Undertaker would shoot like demons out and hit you with a tombstone and stuff like that, man. It's pretty, it has a lot of character and it's pretty fun if you play with a friend. So I definitely recommend checking out WWF In Your House for the PlayStation. Now, if you're a fighting game guy like me, you will love, you know, any of the Capcom releases that was released in the 90s. I mean, Capcom was, you know, putting out bangers when it came to fighting games back then. So, this is Capcom versus SNK, and I was a big fan of SNK. I love the fighting games that SNK released, so it was a match made in heaven when you ask me. The only bad thing about this game is the load time is horrendous. But I mean, it's the original PlayStation and it's playing the arcade port. And this is pretty faithful to the arcade port. A lot of times, if you wanted a good game that was similar to the arcade ports, the PlayStation kind of did a good job of putting those out, so. Yeah, so my next game is NFL Blitz 2000. So any of the NFL Blitz that came out, definitely recommend to get, man. This is multiplayer fun multiplayer madness. If you have a multi-tap, which I highly recommend you getting, so you can play with friends or family, or like I said before, you can play it on the PlayStation 3, which makes it so much fun. The NFL Blitz series is something that needs to come back. They need to go ahead and actually do a remake. I would love to see this remake for the new gen consoles. Arcade 1-Up did come out with they did a re-release for the NFL Blitz arcade, and I believe they did remaster the graphics to make them look a little bit more smooth and up to date. But definitely recommend having any NFL Blitz game on your original PlayStation. So we're gonna move on with the move on, baby. Right here I have WWF Attitude, which is the sequel to WWF Warzone. I talked about that previously, and I mean, didn't much change when it came to this game. Of course, you have a bigger roster, more customization when it comes to your creator wrestler, and also you have a two-team commentating featuring Shane McMahon and Jerry the King Lawler, which is pretty cool. Gameplay kind of sucks when it comes to these games. They didn't improve much when it came to mechanics, but it's definitely worth getting as WWF Attitude. Of course, a franchise that definitely went into oblivion, just disappeared into the abyss, is Knockout Kings. To me, Knockout Kings was one of the better boxing games, I should say, from that era. Of course, you had Ready to Rumble, which is also, like I said, is a game that I do recommend. I don't have the case right now, but like I said, as you can see, I do have the game in the system. But Knockout Kings is one of those games that I felt like was slept on. Of course, you had the greats like Muhammad Ali, Evander Holyfield, you know, Sugar Ray, all those, you know, famous boxing superstars from yesterday, you know, are in this game, and the mechanics of it is pretty good. So definitely check out Knockout Kings. We're gonna keep it pushing. It's Resident Evil 2 that debuted on the original PlayStation. I love this game. They basically took a formula from the Resident Evil 1 and they just upped it. It just better scares, better gameplay, better graphics. It's just a better game. And as you can see, you open it up, you get two discs, because back then those games were kind of big. And of course, you get your manual. It's crazy nowadays. We don't get no manual. We don't get nothing. But they want to charge us for everything. We don't get half of the stuff we used to get back in the day. But, you know, it is what it is. Resident Evil 2, also, they had a remake a couple of years back. I think it was like 2019. Capcom released Resident Evil 2 remake, but this is where it all started. This is where it all started. So many bangers on the original PlayStation. Capcom was doing a thing, boy. They doing a thing now, too. So, another game I definitely think everybody should look into, which I feel like is kind of a hidden gem, is Bushido Blade. So this is one of the games, and it's by Squaresoft. This is one of the games that I remember playing that I've never seen this before in the game. It didn't have a life HUD, so it was no life HUD. There was no way to tell if you had damage or anything. The only way to tell if you had damage if your character was like holding a limb. But this is the only game that I've seen where a match can start and you can kill somebody instantly like that, just with no hesitation. Of course, it's it's a sword fighting game, I should say. You have heavy swords, light swords, you got broadswords, different type of weapons you can use. I actually love the storyline in this game too. So definitely pick this game up if you can find it. Don't know how much it goes for these days, but to me, it's slept on. I love Bushido Blade. And of course, man, we got Tekken 8 coming out in the very near future. This is Tekken 3, which, I mean, when you think about Tekken, you think about PlayStation. You think about OG PlayStation. You think about Tekken 3. To me, Tekken 3, I still boot this bad boy up. I still play it to this day. Has phenomenal gameplay. Has a great roster of characters. It left its predecessors in the dust. This was the best fighting game at the time, and still is to me when it comes to the original PlayStation. It just has great fighting mechanics, a great storyline, great unlockable characters. You remember that? You guys remember unlockable characters before they tried to make you pay for characters? It's just crazy the day and age we live in, man. We used to sit down and play through every character just to see their in-game scene, you know, just to see what happened and what happened in the storyline. So this is also, and then every time you beat the game with a character, you unlock the character. So, those were the days, baby. So here's another game that we absolutely positively need remastered. I feel like this would be great to play online. We don't get too many great racers in this day and age. You got Gran Turismo for the PlayStation, but Jet Moto was one of those games, man, that was, to me, it was very fun to play with family and friends. And it was just basically, you had like a jet ski thing going on. You just ride around, and it's a racing game. I mean, it's a 3D racing game with 3D tracks, and it's fun. It has a nice little gameplay to it. So definitely recommend getting this. We definitely need a remake of this. This will be awesome to have on a current gen system and play it online with family and friends. So another game in a land of 3D platformers. Croc was just amongst the masses of those type of games. You had Spyro, and of course I don't have Spyro, and I know what y'all gonna say. How you got an original PlayStation without Spyro? Listen, I get it. The original Spyro is kind of expensive now, but I do recommend, if you're trying to collect for the original PlayStation, Spyro is one of those games, along with Crash Bandicoot, amongst others. But Croc is one that was slept on. Croc is actually a decent 3D platformer, collectathon as they like to call them. I mean, you kind of played one, you played them all. I mean, you had your Gex, your Spyro, your Bandicoot. They're all pretty essentially the same, but this is not a bad game. So if you can find it for the cheap, I think I bought it for maybe $3 or $4. So it was very inexpensive. A great game from my original PlayStation collection. And we getting down to the nitty gritty, baby. So I got Tomb Raider. So what I'm saying, I don't have the OG Tomb Raider that was on the PlayStation. Any iteration of Tomb Raider, this is the third one, is Adventures of Lara Croft. I mean, it's Lara Croft. She is a baddie, baby. She was the first baddie of video games, the first female protagonist in a game franchise that just kind of like had young boys, you know, eyes open, I should say, and everybody loved Lara Croft. So definitely recommend getting any Lara Croft game. Probably the first one is probably the better one. This one is okay for the original PlayStation. This is pretty much most of my PlayStation collection, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. There's so many games out there for the original PlayStation. If you know some, if I missed some, like I said, of course you have your Medievals, you have your Spyro, your Crash Bandicoots, a lot of them. But this is my collection. This is what I have, and you know, certain ones I recommend that you do pick up and play. It's your boy Big TK Gaming, man. I hope y'all liked the video, man. And what PlayStation games do you still find yourself playing to this day? What original PlayStation games that you just can't put down? It's your go-to game. Comment below, let your boy know. It's your boy Big TK. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Run my lights up. I'm out this thing, baby. Peace.
Hey, plumber boy, mustache man, your worst nightmare has arrived.
Pack up your stuff. I got a little surprise for you here. Check it out. What do you think about that? We got real-time, 3D, lush organic environments. How's that make you feel, buddy? Feel a little like your days are numbered?
I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
You're hurting my elbow.
Is that Italian?
No, Bandicoot is an Australian name.